Hi class, this is a supplemental tutorial for the one I'm making on jack-o'-lanterns. So what I have here is a design for a jack-o'-lantern that I created. It's something that I drew and scanned, and I have it now inside Adobe Illustrator. In here, I'm going to go to Edit or go to Object, and I want to do Image Trace and Make. And what that's going to do is it's going to come into the image and it's going to break it down. It's going to raster. It's going to turn it into vector art. And so here I can come over to my image trace options and I can start adjusting it because I want it to be cleaner than it is. So let's just crank this up a little bit to adjust the threshold, bring over a little bit more of the black, or maybe take it down a little bit. Let's go up a little bit more. And then adjusting these different settings, I opened up the advanced option here. And I want to make the lines a little bit smoother on it. I don't want them to be as kind of janky as they are. And I'll reduce this down. I want to make corners. And then I'll adjust the noise. Kind of smooth it out a bit more even. And what this is going to do, it's going to give me a cleaner version of my image that I can then take this. I'm going to do Object, Image Trace, Expand, and then Object, Ungroup. Because when you do Image Trace, it does everything. Like here's the outer white outline, which I don't need. I do want all these individual ones of all the different little black ones that are in here. So I'll maybe take this little small one and get rid of that. And I think probably the rest of these I actually want to keep. So now I kind of have my overall, maybe I don't want this guy, I'll get rid of him. Any really little tiny ones are kind of the ones you want to get rid of because they're just not so great. And you want to know, like, does my image still read? Sure does. So, okay, so this is good. So I'm going to do File, Save As, and then in your location, you want to do Save, and you're going to get this dialog. And what's important to know is you need to do an Illustrator 8 file. Because if you do an Illustrator 8 file, I'm going to click OK, saving this document in an older format, that's OK. Illustrator 8 allows you to go to 3ds Max and do File, Import, and when you go to that location, inside that location you'll see your Illustrator file, and you can actually click on that and say Open, and then you get AI import. And so Illustrator 8 is a unique format in that you can actually import that, and it's going to bring it in as spline shapes. And so I'm going to merge those objects with my current scene as one single object. And there it is. Now, this object is really small. If I take this, make it a lighter blue, and if I come up here and do spline, earlier in the other tutorials I had you go make a sphere, so why don't I do that real quick, make a sphere that's 100 units, and hit create, and then hit Z, or actually zoom out. You can see that spline shape is really small. So we'll need to take that, and let's just go ahead and center that in the world at 0 and 0, and then here in the side, I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, and then zoom out in the front and just scale it up. And really for this guy, let's go ahead, I'm going to merge in my other jack-o'-lantern. Alright, I used File Merge to bring in that other jack-o'-lantern. Now I'm going to take this dark mark shape that I have and bring this up here. And what I might even do is go ahead and put another freeform deformation on to make this actually a taller pumpkin, because such things do exist in the world. We know pumpkins come in all shapes and sizes. And now I could take this guy and make him even bigger. And I could put my extrude on him again. Just set this to a very high size. There he is, poking right out of the front. And if I just go back again to my pumpkin, go Compound Objects. Before I do that, let's go ahead and save this guy. Alright, I saved that pumpkin, and I'm going to go here, Create, Compound Objects, Boolean, and pick operand B. we go. I'll just convert this guy to an editable poly. Go into polygon and delete those. So there you go. Now, as you can see, that shape was a lot more complex, and so there's a lot more cleanup for me to do. If I come in here, I'll just make this pumpkin a little bit darker. If I turn off edges only, you can see there's a lot more edges. And so let's turn on backface cull. You can see there's a lot more cleanup to do. So you could either try going in and optimizing down your spline by removing some of those verts at the earlier phases, or you could try cleaning up your mesh now. Really the next thing is just getting that shell on there, and this is where you start to see occasionally like some real geometry problems happen. Right, so like right here you start to see a lot of errors, and so this is a spot where you would need to go in and just kind of clean this up a little bit, which may be as simple as I turned on a new backface and I didn't grab anything on the backside, but I grab a bunch of these points and collapse them together to take those down to one point. There we go. And so now let's see, how does that shell look? It's better. There's a lot more spots to clean up, but you kind of get the general idea of how you could potentially create an image in Illustrator and bring that in to use that as your shape as well. So good luck.